All right, so Hip Hop 101. Shout out to all my family. Dangerous family, I'm calling it. Dangerous family. You know what I mean? Like, if you ain't in the family, I don't fuck with you. You know what I mean? It's all family. I only do art with family. But today's Hip Hop 101, I thought it would be important to talk about networking and why to network. First, talk about networking, then why to network. Networking, like, you should already be trying to learn about hip hop in general, the music art form of hip hop in general. You should really be learning about the whole culture as a whole. But if you're a rapper, you should be focusing on the music. And then while you're learning about the past, the present, and the future of hip hop, as a whole, and the big people that made the changes in the music, you should also be checking out who's doing music around you. You know what I mean? Who's hot. I mean, I did just a tip when I went to Alaska. Like, I didn't think, like, man, I'm not gonna be able to find a lot of things that I need out here, and but it had like a hip hop culture out there. So I went around. I started looking for. 2 years prior, I had seen somewhere that on the internet that they had a hip hop award show. So what I did was I looked up all the winners and I hit them up. At first, I hit up all the producers, like boom, 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 yo, hey, I'm looking to get some music. You know what I mean? If you want to, let me see if I can get some. And then I hit up the artist too. I hit up everybody, you know what I mean? And when you go, while you're getting to know who these people are, you should reach out to these people. You know what I mean? You're in the game. You know what I mean? If you want to enter to the game, this is the game. Like, if you go to play basketball, you can go to a court, or you can go where they play basketball, and you can really, like, at Kobe, like, you'll always hear me throw in stories about Kobe. That's a good analogy. And Kobe, when he got into the league of the NBA, he came out of high school. So when he got into the league, he already made the league. So his point was he wanted to prove that not only I'm a high school player that is great, I'm good enough to play in this atmosphere. He already knew this atmosphere because his father was a basketball player previously. But he still went to the Rucker to play because he wanted to be good at playing basketball on all levels. Rucker is a street ball game that's infamous in New York. So he went to the Rucker and wanted to dominate there too. He wanted his presence known. You know, he wanted everyone out here to know that the game is, I'm here. You know what I mean? I have arrived. So that's what networking is. You get to meet, get to know who this person is, what he does here, what his whole thing is, what's his voice, you know, and they get to meet you, you know what I mean, and who you are and what your voice is. So and it's difficult because you're artists, because as rappers, it's a competitive environment, but you're also musicians, you know what I mean, and musicians get together and they play to make harmony. You know what I mean? That's how, like, you can have a guitar, you know what I mean? You can play all day by yourself. When you throw like a drums and like a bass and like a horn and a DJ booth and a rapper, you got a whole thing going on. This is always something different sound. And that's my second point. Why? I can only go by what I know because I'm not all the way there, so I can only tell you what I know. And what I know is trying to learn hip hop as a kid to become a better rapper. A lot of the biggest growth spurts in my education were done working with other artists, because first you get to see how they work, you know what I mean? Like, you get a whole new perspective, you know, and there's no rules, so everyone's doing it their own way. So I'll ask, like, oh, what is this? one time I'm in the studio, everyone's amazed by how I Rock Omega, shout out to I Rock Omega, how he lays down his tracks. Like, he lays 1, 3, 5, and 7, and then he comes back and does 2, 4, 6, and 8. You know what I mean? So they're like coming like this, and I was in the studio, and the engineer was like, "Hey man, if you see what he's doing in there? I mean, that's amazing." Like, plus you need to get your voice out there. So your voice, doing music with other people, they have an audience, their audience introduces you to their audience, your audience introduces you to them. So it's a good way around. They have shows. Maybe you can help open up the show. Maybe you can help them out when you have a show. It's networking. It's a community. You know what I mean? Hip hop is a community. There's a community of listeners, but there's also a community of artists. And there's a big community of big artists, but also at the local level, there are communities. You know what I mean? And that's where the pool is. When the people that get signed up from big artists, they come from the small local communities. So when they blow, if you ever hear about somebody, when they blow, most of the people where he's from, everybody already knows him. Why? Because we're already a community. So if you are dope, this is your people who will help you get where you got to get. So, and networking means you getting interested in the other person too, not coming in thinking that you're the star and that everyone should do you stuff. And that's a thing too. When you're networking, I advise you to help more than you look to get. You know what I mean? Because you see that a lot, like people expect things and stuff like that. But I think my most successful thing is that I think that when I come to you needing something, I have something to offer that's either equal or better, you know what I mean, for that you need. You know what I mean? It's not that, like, it doesn't always have to be monetary. Monetary is nice, but there's other ways that there's things that you have that other people need that you can barter for to get things done. So networking is a necessity as an artist. So get out there and talk to people, get to know your people around you, root for them, go to their shows, celebrate them. You know what I mean? Because if you want someone to celebrate you, you have to be a celebrator of them, and not because you want them to. You need to celebrate them because that's what you do, that you feel that you're an artist, you know how it is, and you want to do this for them, because it's not always going to be reciprocated, but you're here to celebrate their moment. You know what I mean? Because